let's go to it. Y'all know what it is. Listen, Robin, Rihanna, or whatever y'all know her as, Betty. Um, she's very open with her body and fashion and all this stuff, but she also could sing, and she did a cover song, I think of Music of the Sun or whatever, and she did a demo tape and was shopping it out because she did one with him, and he started shopping her demo around, and it went to a lot of different places before it landed with I think it was Jay-Z. He had a nice audition after Jay Brown brought it to his attention, and she had a very private listening audition. Then she went to audition in front of them with Kevin Liles and everything else. So Liles agreed. Not Kevin Liles. What am I talking about? L.A. Reid. So L.A. Reid decides to pull the trigger. So in 2005, a lot of people didn't notice. She's been out since 2005. But the Music of the Sun CD came up, and then the next year she had a full CD, A Girl Like Me, which was top 10 on the Billboard. Nobody really paid too much attention to it. And it had that song she redid, that Pon de Replay, the thing she was known for. And then SOS means SOS. I hated that song. But they played it at every club I was in. So she's building her name up, and she was more known for that time for the alleged affair with the producer, her president of the company, Mr. Jay-Z. They spent a lot of time together, and all that stuff. She was more known for that during that time than anything. Then, of course, Girl Gone Bad come out the next year, and it had the hit song Umbrella. And ever since then, you have had to deal with this sensation. Now, she started dating Chris Brown. We all know that. And they became a couple, and Rihanna, and they're young. Y'all gotta understand that these are two young people. She's only 27 now. When all this happened, she had to have been like 23, maybe less, 21, 22. She's a kid. Chris Brown's basically a kid. These are young people in love. We all know the incident they had. Those two get in a fight, or whatever, scuffle, in the car, which left her badly bruised. Her pictures all over the internet, and he's fleeing the scene, and he know he screwed up and all this stuff, and all the bad press turned on him, and he became the villain. Now, what people didn't expect is, a lot of people are going to be opinionated about what happened and about Chris' actions that night. But there's one person that just harbors more grudge than the person who was actually attacked. Jay-Z. And a lot of people say he is really emotionally attached to this situation. And it's strange because nobody disrespected him, but he started making statements that were like, okay, and all right, if somebody goes and try to do better, and they haven't done anything like that since, and they're going to therapy and doing this and that, and they're not even with the person anymore, why are you still harboring such a grudge when the person who went through the situation has went back and actually dated him? Because what people don't know is they never broke up when that happened. They were still together. When she was bruised and all that stuff, she was with Chris Brown in San Diego. They actually recorded some songs while she was still bruised. And her management team tell you, if you guys get caught together, this is not going to be a good thing. You need to get away from Chris Brown right now while things are going down. This is your career you're talking about. And for those crazy 3 years that they were dating, they had a great relationship. And to this, they were friends more than anything. And the albums that came out, the Rated R and Loud, all that stuff, all this, she became a pop artist and a tabloid artist. She was hitting the tabloid scene very much because she was on Barbara Walters, and this is like years after the incident. She's on television bringing it back up to talk about it again, right when Chris is getting his career back together. And it just seemed so deliberate and so, like, for promotion. And it's like you destroy someone's career over promotion. It was terrible, the timing of it. And she was pressured by no other than, allegedly, her president of the record company, Mr. Z, decided that this was the route to take. And everybody remembers the VMA Awards, where Chris Brown was supposed to do a performance for Michael Jackson's tribute, and Jay-Z said, if y'all do that, if y'all let Chris Brown perform, me and Beyonce staying at home. Which rubbed a lot of artists the wrong way when it was reported that he said that. Now, he denied ever making that statement, but it was reported, and a lot of people say, yeah, he did. He was trying to cover face because nobody was riding with that. They was like, man, let that go. That's like why are you holding such a grudge? But here comes a time, and we were getting ready to go out, and Chris Brown is back, and he's got a hot album out. Chris is back on top. He's doing good, and he's getting ready to perform the next year, and they're going to let him do his performance he was going to do for Michael Jackson. So he does his performance. He cries. Everybody stood up, applauded Chris, because it's like, okay, you fought all the way back to get to this point. They took everything from you. Everybody makes a mistake. This old bitter dude gonna sit down. He don't want to get up and clap for Chris Brown because he's still harboring a grudge. And everybody could see it. And it's so deliberate. And everybody's like, dude, are you really that bitter? You got, what, 500 million and you hating? For what? What is the thorn in your side to make you hate on this man so much? Then there's an after party at another award show, which I ain't finna say, but too many people was there. Floyd was there, a lot of people was there, and and they were saying Jay and Beyonce is gonna show up there. So the place was like freaking out, like, oh man, Jay and Beyonce called, they finna come here. And as everybody's getting ready to go in, it was who was it? Was it Bow Wow there? No, Bow Wow wasn't there that time. It was Floyd, myself, Chris Brown, Tyrese, a couple other people going in. And the manager came out and wanted to talk to Chris Brown. And they told Chris he couldn't come in because Jay was going to come there and Chris Brown couldn't be there if Jay was going to come. So Chris, who was scheduled to, like, he was going to appear there, they couldn't let him in if Jay was going to make his appearance there. He didn't want Chris Brown in the facility if him and Beyonce was showing up. And when they saw Chris Brown, they told him, we cannot let you in. And he was like, wow, this dude. So Chris just, like, drove off. It's like, dude, we out. They ain't going to let me in. They ain't letting me in because of Jay. And they was like, don't say that out loud. Don't do that. Dude try to make him, he just try to use you to come back. Don't do nothing crazy, you know, because he be making songs. He's like, man, I don't even care about this dude. So we get back to the set, and we back at the MGM Grand, and he's just losing it. Like, man, dude, all of this because she don't want you. Man, dude, give it up. You got a wife. Go home to your wife. So, and he's like, I'm not even with her, and he's still upset about a girl. She ain't gonna be with you. She don't want to be with you. And allegedly, all this is about Jay really has feelings for Rihanna, reported. Allegedly, rather. And, like, really, like, got feelings. And this is what this is about. Chris came along and, like, ended it. You know, Memphis Bleek tried to holler at her, and, you know, Jay shut him down. Would not let him get near her. He put her on a song with Memphis. Memphis, she was feeling him. They had a good vibe, and he was like, man, Shorty's nice. Like, she's really open to a lot of things. And Jay was like, no. Killed that. That's his. Like, no. So, once that happened, that was done. But then no one knew why. So, I guess Chris let it be known that night when he was like, look, Stu need to get over it. And then he goes to the magazine, and the Jet magazine, because everybody's looking at him as a villain, and he says some very faithful remarks. And this is like right after that incident. He goes, like, no disrespect to Jay-Z, I'm a fan, but this is a guy who stabbed somebody and sold drugs. But I'm looked at as a bad guy. But he gets a pass. It's a true statement. It's a very true statement, but one you don't make against Jay-Z. And ever since then, Chris has had problems with the law. He's had all kind of trouble getting deals, being able to perform in high-end places that he used to be able to. He's basically doing hood joints, you know, and that's hood stuff is cool, but you want to do some big venues too, where it's a little bit more security and everything going on for you. But like Jay will book somebody else in their place, you know, it's like calculating moves. Like, oh, Chris doing something there, okay, well, tell them I'm gonna put Fabulous there and it's booked up. You know, big artists know how to play the big boy game and shut people's money down. And it has a major effect on their career. And I don't think Jay is going to let this go, because that's just how petty he is about the situation. Hopefully he'll grow up one day and realize that I was an idiot. This was not the route to take, especially over something that's not mine. Let me continue to make this money off her and be done with it, you know. So everybody, you know, did their thing, played their part, and got what they wanted out of the deal. Just chill. It was never yours to own, just to rent for the time being. So it's a silly beef. That's like somebody, you old enough to be that man's son. I mean, to be his father, rather. And instead of giving him advice on how to do better, you judging him as if you never done wrong. You gotta do better, Jack.